Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the yet to be named podcast. um, the intention behind the podcast is to really share the future of marketing, encompassing things like obviously AI, so it's a huge component, but blockchain, tokenization, Web 3.0, kind of all the things. We're still kind of rocking that nameless vibe around here, but we want feedback. So any creative juices that you have, please hit me up with any name suggestions because we haven't quite nailed the name yet. But as you're coming in, give me a shout out. Where in the world are you today, this beautiful morning or afternoon or evening? I know people chime in from all over the world. So love to know where you are today. Today, I want to kind of focus in on something I think is it's definitely a jaw dropper. I think you'll understand once I get into the details, but really wanted to dive deep into Google's latest brainchild that's got the potential, I think, to revolutionize how we approach content creation and research in particular. Now, I'm going to go ahead and name it. It's NotebookLM. And let me just tell you, it's like having, I'd say it like a super smart intern or assistant who never sleeps, doesn't need coffee, and won't steal your lunch from the office fridge. So that's always a win, right? Now, you might say, you might be rolling your eyes and think, oh, great, another AI tool, because let me tell you, there's one on every corner, probably dropping every 5 minutes, no joke. But I do think this one is worth talking about. I've been playing around with the NotebookLM all over the course of the weekend. And it's not just another chatbot. I think it could be a true game changer for us as online marketers. And I'm here to share why I think that's true. So it's great to see you. Hey, Lou, I'm excited to see you as well. Lou and I are speaking at the AOC conference up in Maine. So if you haven't bought your ticket yet or you want to know more information, let us know, or you can just Google AOC event. I don't have the link handy, but you can probably Google it, and we can get you information on it. So yeah, I think the fascinating thing about the whole notebook concept is, the way they bill it. Let me put it that way. It is as an assistant, but it's so much more. And I am going to share some of the features first, and then we're going to dig into some strategies on how you could actually use it. Because it's one thing this has been my struggle with AI tools is, okay, one, learn how to use it. Right? That's the first metric is, okay, let's dig in. Every one of them have their own unique features and okay, how do you use it? How do you make it work? And then you have to figure out from a strategy perspective, how does this matter to me? So that's what I want to go through that process with you. I'm going to talk about the features first. I'm going to save the best feature for last. And then we're going to talk about strategy, because how can you leverage this tool smartly in your business? And I think to some degree, it's going to require you to step up and be creative with it. But I want to give you a starting point of how you can leverage this tool. So, okay. So the very first thing I want to you got to know, where do you find it, right? So if you I can't talk this morning. If you go to notebooklm.google.com, you'll be able to find the notebook feature. Now, I'm going to pull my screen up in just a moment. And if your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, don't panic. When you first go to this, it's going to assume you have you've never used it before, right? So it's going to know that. Once you start creating notes, it'll look slightly different. So when I share my screen, because I've been playing with it, it's going to look slightly different than what you're going to see when you tune into it. But definitely go to that link and it'll open up the tool for you. Now, before I open up my screen, I wanted to just kind of walk you through what it is first. So again, think of it like your personal AI research assistants that's been like binge watching your entire digital life. Like that's the best way I could think to describe it. It's like having a super smart intern who doesn't sleep, who doesn't need coffee, and like I said, won't steal your lunch out of the office fridge. Now, traditionally, when it comes to AI, here's the elephant in the room. AI pulls from outside sources, and it doesn't always sound like us. It doesn't sound like the way we speak. It doesn't sound like our business details. Like this has been my pet peeve when it comes to how people are using AI. I actually have a masterclass on how to train AI to sound like you so that the output is reflective of your voice and brand. But this isn't something that is traditionally baked into AI. So in other words, AI is a learning management. It's a learning tool. It can learn about you. But I think this is the difference between, other AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, or, fill in the blank on which AI tool of choice that you've been using. The difference here and the magical part of this is that you feed NotebookLM all of your stuff. Now, this is essentially the same thing that I would teach in my masterclass, where you give it all the information you want it to have. Documents, PDFs, web pages, things that you jotted down at 2 a.m. after binge watching the cat videos. It gobbles up all of this information and becomes an expert on your content. Not just general knowledge, but your specific, a quirky, one-of-a-kind data. But here's where it gets really cool. And this is where I think the division between what I've been teaching and what this tool does. NotebookLM uses Google's, I call it Fancy Pants Gemini 1.5 Pro AI model. It's just their latest model. It's so smart. It can probably understand why I still can't figure out TikTok dances. But this AI doesn't just regurgitate info. It gets the nuances of how you write and think. I would like to call it intuitive in ways that I haven't really seen in AI tools before. So, and it'll make sense once I show you some of the output. But now that, you may be thinking to yourself, well, Kim, this sounds great, but what about like those sneaky AI hallucinations, the hiccups I call them, when AI starts like, just spewing random things like, a gossip columnist on Red Bull. Well, hold on to your hashtags, because I think Notebook LM has a trick up its sleeve called source grounding. So source grounding is basically every time NotebookLM tells you something, it's like that annoying friend who, says, well, actually, except in this case kind of thing. But this is super helpful for us because it's going to give us a citation linking back to the exact spot in your documents where it found the info. So there's no more vague, I think I read that somewhere kind of thing, or it's not like just randomly pulling in concepts together. It's like really kind of like a bibliographer on steroids. So think of it like any major point that it makes, it's pulling that directly from something you gave it, something you fed it. So, and before we dive into the hows of using the NotebookLM, I want to talk about how you can, like I said, you can get your hands on it just by going to that link. And that's going to be great for all my visual learners. I'm going to show you, walk you through all of that. But if you're watching, if you're watching, you'll be able to watch, obviously. But if you're listening, just simply head over to notebooklm.google.com. You'll see a big friendly try NotebookLM button and go ahead and click on that. And then it's a pretty clean, intuitive interface. But I'm going to pull up my screen now, and we're going to dive into this a little bit more. So let me do this real quick. All right, here we go. So this is, like I said, I've already been messing a little bit with the platform. So I already have some notebooks in here that are going to be, and again, the look is going to be a slightly different than what you would see. But once you create your first notebook, you'll be able to see all of your notebooks in here. Now, if you'll notice down under here, where you can see the introduction, let me make sure that's, yeah, okay, I'm just making sure everything's still showing the way it's supposed to. All right, introduction to NotebookLM. So these are example notebooks that you can see. Invention of light bulb. Some of these I haven't even looked at, honestly. When I first plugged into this tool, I went ahead and opened up this introduction to Notebook. And it's kind of like a deep dive into what Notebook is all about. And it gives you the opportunity to see some of the, like it documented all the things that Notebook has. And I'm going to walk you through how you do this yourself. But the point is that you can come in here and you can query and you can ask questions about this tool. The reason I decided to go slightly differently as it relates to showcasing this to you is because this is all the technical, like mumbo jumbo. I wanted to look at it through the lens of a marketing perspective. So as marketers, we need to look at these tools through the lens of how are they going to be beneficial to us. So I want to go ahead and basically what I did is I trained the platform on itself based on things that I found out in the interwebs that felt like good information from a marketing perspective. So I basically just copied and pasted some individual transcripts from some YouTube videos I found. You can literally pull in content from a variety of formats, So if you click on sources up here, again, you could start from fresh, but I'm just showcasing one of the ones that I've already done. You can add any kind, you can upload PDFs, text document, markdown tables. You can connect to a Google Drive if you want, Google Slides. You can put a website link in. This means you can use your website or you can use any website that you find that has relevance to what you are trying to educate and pull from. You can also paste text. So if you wanted to paste in, blog content or like I did with the transcripts from YouTube videos, you can add up to 50 documents in here as your source data. And then once you have all your source data in here, you can ask it questions, you can query it, but I want to key in on the features first. So I've added some notes in here, but there's two things down here. There's a view chat. So this is how you would start to ask the questions. It'll, like you can see, there's a series of questions that it has here for me. They're grayed out here. So I could ask those questions. I can ask my own questions. And then you can go back and forth and view the chat at any given time. But I'm going to pull up this notebook guide right here. And this is down in the right-hand corner here. And the reason I wanted to key in on this is because there's features here, this FAQ, the study guide, the table of contents, the timeline, the briefing doc. And I really wanted to focus in on these because these are very impactful little features in and of themselves. The FAQs. This feature is a lifesaver for anyone who's ever stared at a blank document trying to anticipate what questions their audience might have. Now, here's how it works. So like if I was just to click on FAQ, for example, it's going to open up a new note and it's going to drop in a series of frequently asked questions based on and intuitively based on the content itself. So it takes just a few minutes for that to happen. And once that has happened, it'll pop up on the screen. Now I can hit these little two little arrows over on the right, and it'll open it up to a bigger screen. Or let me just keep it on the screen so you can see it. It gives me all of these FAQs. Now think about this through the lens of how could you use this, right? You could use this in a lot of different ways. If you had like for example, it could be anything, but let's say you're going to create a new course and you just have no idea really how much information that you have around that, but also what kind of questions people would have. So you could upload your sales page, you could upload information about it, and it would be able to create a series of questions for you that you could use on your sales page. This could be a huge time saver, but it's also great because it's going to give you a comprehensive, accurate series of FAQs for your products or your services, or even as part of your content strategy. So I think that's super cool, right? Everybody can I get like heck to the yes? That's super cool. And then I'm going to go back to the notebook guide, and the same could be said for the study guide. The study guide, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It's going to generate a study guide for me. This could be great even if you are trying to leverage your honestly, it could be a series of things. But from the perspective of a study guide, you could use it again in the same context. If you are creating a course, having a study guide could be awesome, right? But the thing that I think is super powerful about this is the ability to get a structured guide with like main topics, subtype topics, key points to remember. So for us as marketers, this is gold. Imagine how quickly we could create learning resources for our team, or onboarding guides for new clients, or even structuring your next epic blog post or video script, right? And the best part is it's all based on the sources that you provided it. So it's relevant and accurate to your business, your intention behind it, right? It's not going to be some random thing that ChatGPT just pulls out of thin air. Now, I will say, ChatGPT does have some good information, right? It does pull some good stuff, but this is going to be very personalized to you and your business. And or a client's business. If you're a service provider, this could be super gold for you. The table of contents. Let me pull up that Google. Hang on just a sec. Let me get out of that. Move back over here. So this is the study guide, just to kind of give you a vision for what it would look like. And as you can see, it's got all these questions. This is just amazing content. Let's do the same for a table of contents. Let's see what that looks like. So the construct, though, of a table of contents, a NotebookLM can create both a table of contents and a timeline. And let me tell you, it's like, I would call it a personal organizer for your brain. For the table of contents, it instantly creates a structured outline, perfect for planning long-form content or organizing your thoughts on a complex topic. So I think that's fascinating. Let me once it pulls up, there it is. So, it basically just kind of breaks it down for us. And now you have all of this information in a very organized way. There's so many ways that you could leverage this. You could do it from a note-taking perspective, team meetings. There's just 1,001 ways this little feature could be used. Two, let me make a note real quick. You can actually come in here and you can, name these whatever you want. So, every time a new note is created, it will, automatically name it new note. But in this particular case, this is the table of contents. So I could actually just name it table of contents, and now it'll say table of contents. So for organization purposes, I just wanted to highlight that real quick as a pro tip. Okay, so we've talked about the table of contents, the timeline. I'm going to go ahead and click that so you can kind of see what that would look like. But the timeline is a chronological breakdown of key events and milestones based on the content that you gave it. So think about how you could use this for planning marketing campaigns, or tracking industry developments, or even mapping out your content strategy for the year. You could use it for pretty much any of those activities. This is, like I said, pretty golden. All right, so this is a timeline of events, and you can see, it just basically breaks down all of the resources that I gave it. And, more succinctly, I guess is the best way of saying it. All right, let's take a peek at the last, which is the briefing doc. Well, actually, I said I was going to save the best for last. This isn't the last feature. I have saved the best for last. But the briefing feature is perfect for when you need to get up to speed on a topic quickly, or when you need to brief your team or maybe your clients. It gives you, just like within a few minutes, a concise, well-structured document that highlights key points, potential use cases, and even some challenges to consider. I think this feature is a lifesaver for preparing for meetings, maybe crafting your sales pitches, or even just organizing your thoughts before diving into a new project. So let's take a peek. Here it is. And you can see it's got all the details in here, very succinct. So this basically, I've used this a couple of times. When I want to create or get knowledgeable about something fast. So just coming in here and getting a briefing, it's kind of like, it's like, what do they call the Cliff Notes, right? It's kind of like a Cliff Notes except it's using your data points. It's not, Cliff Notes from a book that you're trying to shave time by just reading the Cliff Notes. This is, information that, is important to you and your business, and you can succinctly and very quickly get access to a brief document overview of that. But this is where it gets really exciting. Okay, so I can actually have it create an audio overview. And hopefully, I think I remembered to put the audio in the feed. Let me make sure. I think I have. I think we're going to be good here. But once it's done, the audio, I'm going to go ahead and play it. I'm praying that we can hear this.
Okay, get ready, because we're diving deep today.
Deep dive into what? Don't leave us hanging.
Right into the heart of Google's NotebookLM.
Ah, NotebookLM. Sounds intriguing.
More than intriguing, trust me. Think of it like, how everyone wants an AI assistant?
Sure. Who doesn't love the sound of that?
But one that's not generic. Huh. This one's read everything you have. Notes, files, the works.
Okay, now that's interesting. So it's personalized.
Totally. And it uses that to help you make sense of, everything.
Bold claims right out the gate. We are talking about the same Google, right?
We are, and they're calling it a game changer. Research, writing, even
podcasting.
Even podcasting, they claim. But we've dug deep, right? Got the marketing hype, tutorial.
Okay, so did everybody hear that? I just want to make sure that everybody was able to understand the impact of this little feature. Essentially, it's a natural conversation. Yes, Lou said it so good. He's like, such a natural discussion. What I find simply amazing about this is the intuitiveness of the discussion that is created using this audio overview. It is like a real back and forth conversation between two people. Now, the limitations of the two people are this. There's only two voices to choose from, a male and a female voice. And you, at this point in time, using this tool as a standalone, there is no opportunity for you to change the voice out, meaning, you can't sub in yours. But this is super powerful. If you wanted to leverage your blog content, for example, and turn it into a podcast and make it more engaging. I think this could be a real shift in how you leverage and create content or potentially repurpose content. Okay, so I think that's like a mind-blowing. Anybody else's mind just totally blown by that little feature? Now, next up, I really wanted to dig into okay, how can I actually use this? I mean, I've talked about some of the features. I've talked about maybe even some of the ways that you could use it, but I wanted to get a little deeper into the strategy piece of this. So let me go back over. I got my notes pulled up here for you guys. Now, obviously that audio feature is, I think, huge, right? You could do so many things with it. You could quickly draft scripts or, for marketing videos, podcast episodes. I mean, so many things. But I really wanted, like I said, I wanted to dig a little deeper into like the content creation component of this. So that's strategy number one. I mean, I talked about obviously the podcast feature, but what other types of content could you create? I think you could turn NotebookLM into your personal content creation powerhouse. And here's how. You could start by uploading all of your existing content, your blog posts, social media captions, video scripts, email newsletters, absolutely anything that is relevant to your business and to your voice. You could use the table of contents feature to organize your content by themes or topics. But now here's where the magic happens. You could ask NotebookLM to generate content ideas based on your most engaging post. It can analyze your top performing content and suggest new ideas that are most likely to resonate with your audience. I mean, the opportunity or the possibilities is limitless, in my opinion. You could take it a step further. You could use the study guide feature to create an outline for each new content piece. Then you could use the audio overview to draft a script if you're creating a video or a podcast content. I mean, see how one thing could lead to the next. So when you really embrace this by doing this, you're not just creating more content, you're creating smarter content that builds on your past content pieces, your past successes. It's like having a content strategist, a researcher, and a writer all rolled into one AI-powered package. So that's strategy number one. I want you to play with it a little bit and see what kind of outputs you get with it, because I think content creation just got a lot easier. That is one of the things about AI that I do love, is the ability for it to make the things that have been heavy lifters for us in the past doable, because now AI is a super creative partner for us. And as these tools evolve, the ability for us to do things smarter, faster, quicker. I think I said the same thing twice there, but you get the point, right? All right. And then the second strategy I have for you is, I'm going to call this customer mining, for lack of a better way of saying it. It's turning the NotebookLM into a customer insight goldmine. Now, here's how I think it could be done. You could, again, upload all of your customer feedback, survey responses, reviews that you've gotten, support tickets, social media comments. Now, those social media comments might be a little tougher to grab, but the concept of it is, where is your customer communicating with you, and how can you feed that essentially to the NotebookLM as a resource for it to give you the best output. And then you could use the FAQ feature to generate a list of common customer questions and pain points that your person has. This alone is incredibly valuable for your support team and even as content creators, because you could ask it to analyze your customer feedback for recurring themes and sentiment. You could get a breakdown of, what your customers love and what they're struggling with and what they're asking for. Huge. And no more guessing, because if you really pay attention to what your audience is saying, they'll tell you what they're willing to spend money on. But you can also use the briefing doc feature to create a customer insight report. And this could inform keep you up to date on product development, or give you ideas for product development, marketing messages, and even your content strategy. So this strategy, I think, turns a NotebookLM into more like a personal customer research analyst that can help you understand your audience on a much higher level, a deeper level, and really tailor your marketing efforts so that you're not guessing all the time. I think that is one of the things as marketers, it's super hard to know all the things, and AI gives us the ability to really dig in deeper and not have to process all this stuff in our own heads, right? It's like it's our creative partner. It's one of the things that it does absolutely bring to the table, but so often we're not using it like this, which is one of the reasons that I'm really trying to highlight strategy for you so that you understand how you can marry the strategy with the features of the tool. Okay? So my third strategy for you is personalized marketing campaigns and audience segmentation. Okay, that sounds super fancy, right? You may be saying, okay, well, what does that mean? So we're going to talk about how I think NotebookLM can supercharge your personalized marketing efforts, because I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but that is like one of the top most frequently shared things as it relates to upcoming trends. And it has been for several years. This is nothing new. Personalized marketing is the wave of the future. It is not just the wave of the future, it's here now. And if we're not doing it, I think we need to be doing more of it, because our people have become desensitized, I think, to marketing efforts. So how do we really step up and show them that we see them in a way that attracts them to us? So being able to personalize your marketing and help segment your audience using AI could be a real game changer for across the board for you. So this is where I think things get really exciting. Now, how to turn NotebookLM into your personalized creative partner and help it leverage it for segmentation as well. Turn it into your secret weapon, essentially. So going back to how do you do it? You start by uploading all of your customer data. We're talking purchase history, engagement metrics, like demographic info, any kind of information that you have, anything that you've got that's compliant with privacy regulations, of course. You do have to keep that in mind. But next, use the table of contents feature to organize this data into like different categories. This gives you like kind of a clear overview of what information you're working with. And now here's where the magic happens. Ask NotebookLM to identify any distinct customer segments based on behavior and preferences. Now, our brains don't operate this fast, nor does it usually think like this. But if we can ask an AI tool based on our personal information about our customers, it's going to analyze that data and it's going to suggest audience segments that you might not have considered before. And like I said, most of us don't think like that. So the ability to really dig a little deeper and really understand what our people are most interested in and what segments you can like really like low-hanging fruit kind of things that you can go after. This could be huge and really instrumental in driving more sales in your business. Now, the next thing is you could use the study guide feature to create a detailed profile for each segment. So ask questions like, what are the key characteristics of segment A or this particular customer, right? Or what type of content resonates most with segment B? And I think this is where the real game changer comes into play. You could use the FAQ feature to generate personalized FAQs for each segment. So each avatar essentially, or each, when it comes to segmentation, everybody's interested in different things. Even though you have a big umbrella, most of us do in our business, there's people that aren't interested in all the things. They're just interested in what they care about, right? So being able to create an FAQ for each segment within your audience, oh my gosh, right? This can help you inform your email marketing, leverage it at a higher level, create better chatbot responses, and even help with your sales team's approach to those customer segmentation lanes. So, and then finally, you could use the briefing doc feature to create tailored marketing campaign briefs for each segment. You could ask, Notebook to generate a marketing campaign idea for just, segment C, whatever that audience segmentation is, focusing on their main pain points and preferences. See how this really starts to come together. And then you can really start to be super personalized in how you're addressing the segments within your audience. So I think this strategy is going to turn NotebookLM into your personal marketing strategy or strategist, helping you create super hyper targeted campaigns that speak directly to each segment of your audience. It's like having the ability to clone yourself and assign each clone to a different customer group. It could be huge. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. How do I know this? Well, you may be thinking, this sounds great, but isn't this level of personalization a bit creepy? Now, here's the thing. We're not using this to invade people's privacy. That is not the intention on any level. We're using it to provide value, to speak to our audience actual needs and the things that they are most interested in, the things that they really want to solve in their lives or in their business. And this is going to be super effective because instead of bombarding them with irrelevant content, things that don't matter to them, it gives them a singular lane to really connect with you. And plus, remember, NotebookLM is working with the data you already have. It's just helping you use that data more effectively. So the key is to always balance personalization with respect for privacy. I just want to make sure that you understand that there is some boundaries here. You want to use these insights to be helpful, not invasive, essentially. Now, here's a pro tip for you. You can use this segmentation concept or strategy to personalize your content across all channels. So your email campaigns, your social media posts, even your website content can be tailored to speak more directly to each segment of your audience. It's like having a heart-to-heart conversation with each part of your audience at scale. And we've never really been able to do this before because it's too heavy. It's too labor-intensive for us to figure out all of this stuff without one, knowing what they were, much less being able to serve each segment within our audience with personalized content, things that matter to them, providing them with FAQs around certain things. So this is huge. I just think I'm so excited about NotebookLM. I think it gives us so many lanes that we could step into. But I've just really scratched the surface, I think. But I wanted to bring it to your attention. I wanted you to get started and know, at least at a baseline, how to potentially start using it. And I hope that you are as excited about the possibilities as I have been once I got a chance to see this tool. Now, keep in mind that NotebookLM isn't here to replace your creativity or your expertise or your intuition around your audience. It's simply a powerful tool to help you amplify your efforts, helping you work smarter, not harder. And whether you're creating content, mining customer insights, or creating personalized campaigns, it can be your creative partner, a secret weapon, if you will, in what I call the ever-changing world of digital marketing. I mean, things are changing so rapidly today that even what I'm sharing with you right now as it relates to NotebookLM, there could be another tool out there in a month that is going to blow this one away. But the reality of it is we've got to stay on top of this or it'll be left behind. So I'm just going to challenge you. What are you waiting for? Dive in, play with it, experiment, and let NotebookLM help you unlock new levels of marketing magic. And if you use it to come up with a brilliant name for this show, hit me up, because I definitely am still trying to find the magic sauce when it comes to naming this, quote unquote, new podcast that is currently no name. But don't forget, we're still on the whole, forgetting the concept of making sure that you don't step backwards in this space, that you step forward and really lean into, the possibilities of where AI can take you. So I'm going to close out the podcast real quick, and then I'm going to circle back to questions. But until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, and remember, in the world of marketing, like I said before, the only constant is change and coffee. Always coffee. All right. So are there any questions that I can answer? I'm so excited. I see so many familiar faces with us. So always excited to see you. So Norma, what are the prompts to make it work? I wouldn't say this is a promptless platform, but it works differently. So, once you put all of your information in, it will give you questions that you could ask it, very thoughtful questions, like it's an intuitive platform. So it will give you a jumping off point. But then you can also use it just from a perspective of your framework of knowledge. Like, what do you want it to do for you? And then just ask it. And then if you don't like what the output is, you could just continue evolving it. Great question, by the way. It's a little different than some of the traditional chatbots. All right. So another question, can we create captions for IG Reels? Absolutely. So once you've trained it in your information and, let's say, I'll give you a very specific example. You train it in your information, your knowledge, your voice, then and really key in on the problems that your person has, then you could ask it to create some video scripts that solve the problems that your people have. And that would also, the next thing would, put some captions for those, turn those scripts into captions for IG Reels. Absolutely. We have, all right. I'm just going back through to see if we have any last minute questions before we jump off. And if you think of something later, as you are starting to use the tool and you're like, okay, I don't know, I don't understand this. If you have any last minute questions, or you want to jump back into this thread and, whether you're over on LinkedIn or you're on YouTube or wherever, don't hesitate to ask questions. Even later, if you have any, we love them. We will jump back in and make sure we answer them. All right. All right. Well, thank you for spending a little bit of time with me today. Yes, I think so. Great question. Will it assist in coding a chatbot? I think if you gave it the information, I haven't tried this, so keep that in mind. But yes, I think it would absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned this, because we actually have a framework for training our chatbots I call it human marketing. But now that you've said this, now I'm like, I wonder if I could do better by simply giving that framework to a notebook and having it be more intuitive with that. So I'm going to test it out. So thank you for giving me the idea. But yes, I think in theory, absolutely, it could help you code a chatbot. One of the things that I'm loving about this resource is the intuitiveness of it. It's like if you play around with the audio feature, that back and forth conversation flow is very natural. It's very, it's just like two people sitting down and talking about the topic, the whatever it was that you fed it, in other words. So it's just a back and forth conversation. It's intuitive. It asks questions. It talks about the content. It is so good that I think that could really be very powerful in the construct of the coding a chatbot. So I will find out, because I want to test it and see. But I encourage you guys to play with this tool. Go check it out. Like, take one of your blog posts and turn it into a podcast. See how it turns out, and share that out in social media and see how your audience engages with it. But I would definitely check into it and see how it works for you. I would love to hear your stories after you start, kind of playing with the tool a little bit and seeing what the output is for you. All right. Sounds great. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Next Monday, same time, same place. I think next week we may talk blockchain a little bit. So make sure you come if you are intrigued with blockchain, but you have no idea what it is all about and how it matters to you. So we will see you next week, same time, same place. Take care. God bless.